Hello and welcome to Wealth Gambit. In this video, we'll be going over why I sold my car to buy SoFi stock and whether or not you should too. Just kidding, but maybe not. Watch the rest of the video and find out. I sold my car, a 2016 Honda Civic EXT, for $16,000 in cash for a couple reasons. Number one, I no longer used my car that often and didn't need it for work. When I first purchased my car, I bought it because my previous car was a stick shift and I was driving a lot for work. To make matters worse, at the time I was living in Los Angeles, California, which is notorious for some of the worst traffic in the world. Traffic was a nightmare, so I needed something reliable and that was an automatic, but also a little sporty because I was in my early 20s. Buying the Honda Civic Coupe made a lot of sense back then, and I even saved a little bit of money by buying the 2016 version in 2017. I did, however, make the mistake of buying it brand new off the lot, which did cost me a bit in the long run, which I'll talk about later in this video. After everything was said and done, off the lot with taxes, other things included, I was out of pocket about $27,000, which of course I financed because I did not have $27,000 at the time. I mainly used the car for work and a little bit for fun on weekends. If you guys have been following the channel, then you know that we just moved to Las Vegas from California to buy a house. On top of that, I recently left the previous industry I was working in, which was property management. Property management required me to drive around a lot because I would go to all the properties every month and do things that would require me to be on site. Because I used my car so much for work and there was no way to get around it, I actually considered my car an asset at the time. Since moving to Las Vegas, I now work 100% from home in a completely different industry. On top of that, the house that we bought is almost 3,000 square feet, 5 bedrooms, 4 bathrooms, and it's literally just 2 of us here. We literally have no reason to leave the house, which results in me never using my car. On top of that, our social life has definitely taken a hit because we've been focusing a lot more on work this year, and as a result, our social life has suffered. Because of this, we no longer go out that often, so I really just don't drive my car. And so those reasons combined have turned this car from what was once an asset into a liability, which according to Robert Kiyosaki is something that takes money out of your pocket instead of putting money in. Because of all those reasons combined, I have chosen to sell my car and instead invest the $16,000, which was locked up in the vehicle prior to my selling it. Guys, for the month of July, our goal is to hit 1,000 subscribers. So if you got any value from this video so far, don't forget to subscribe and like. It helps the channel a lot and really motivates us to make more videos. Appreciate you guys a lot. Now to the juicy part. Why am I putting it in SoFi stock? Personally, here at Wealth Gambit, we are not really so heavy into diversification. Before you freak out, dislike, or unsub, listen to what Grandpa Buffett has to say about diversification.
You know, do I need to own 28 stocks in order to, have proper diversification? Be nonsense. There's nothing magic. We like to put a lot of money in things that we feel strongly about. And that gets back to the diversification question. We think diversification is, as practiced generally, makes very little sense for anyone that knows what they're doing. Diversification is a protection against ignorance. I mean, if you want to make sure that nothing bad happens to you relative to the market, you own everything. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, that is a perfectly sound approach for somebody who does not feel they know how to analyze businesses. If you know how to analyze businesses and value businesses, it's crazy to own 50 stocks or 40 stocks or 30 stocks probably, because there aren't that many wonderful businesses that are understandable to a single human being in all likelihood. And to have some super wonderful business and then put money in number 30 or 35 on your list of attractiveness and forego putting more money into number 1 just strikes Charlie and me as madness. It's a confession, in our view, that you don't really understand the businesses that you own.
Guys, please don't shoot the messenger. Grandpa Buffett said it, not us. Also, we are not financial advisors, so do your own due diligence. Anyways, how we see it is, in the beginning, diversification actually makes a lot of sense, since diversification, after all, is to protect you from making any major mistakes or putting too much money in the wrong company and then losing it all, or at least most of it. But after that, if you're going to diversify heavily, then why not just buy into the S&P 500 index and call it a day? Here at Wealth Gambit, we really like going heavy into 3 to 5 stocks, maybe eventually 10, but never more than 20. Because after 20, it's really hard to know on a high level what you're actually investing in and how those companies are doing. Imagine we asked you to invest $1,000 in the people you know personally that would be the most successful. Obviously, the more money you invest into an individual, the higher your return would be if they did well. If you think about it like this, you'll probably realize out of everyone you know, there are probably a few that really stand out that make you think to yourself, hey, this guy or gal is really going places. Now, would you then take that $1,000 and invest it in 50 different people, possibly diluting your returns on your limited capital, or 3 to 10 people that you have high conviction will be successful, aka the best of the best that you really believe in? Now, there's actually no right or wrong answer to this, but personally at Wealth Gambit, we prefer to focus our capital and not dilute our returns. Although this definitely comes with some risk, and most people should definitely definitely not go this route. Like seriously, most people should not go this route. We try to mitigate risk by doing a ton of research. So if you're lazy and don't want to do that, then just subscribe to our channel as we post the best stocks we find and the best research on said stocks weekly here on this channel. Also, like this video if you got any value from it so far. All that said, guys, we have a handful of high conviction stocks here at Wealth Gambit, and SoFi is actually pretty high on that list. The other stocks on that list, we already have a decent amount of capital invested, so we won't really be adding to those anytime soon unless they drop significantly in price. By the way, if you want us to release a video on our top stocks of all time, please like and subscribe, and if we can get this video to 500 likes, then we'll definitely drop that video. Anyways, SoFi, which we think is a great company, has dropped a decent amount in the last several weeks, as I'm sure every shareholder here knows, but don't worry guys, diamond hands baby. Anyways, we're going to be taking advantage of this and adding to our position heavily. Currently, we just bought 250 shares, which is pretty light work honestly, but we're waiting because it appears that SoFi is trending downwards, so we will continue to add over time, and the more it drops, the heavier we will be adding. Granted, there is definitely no timing in the market, but honestly, we have a decent amount of capital already invested in SoFi, so the lower it dips, the better. Now, should you do this? At the end of the day, we are definitely not financial advisors, so we cannot tell you anything for sure. But if after listening to our story, you resonated with it a lot and agreed with the points that we made, then I'm sure you know the answer. Anyways, until next week, thanks for watching. Peace.